Hello guys and welcome back. In this video I wanted to talk about the flip fluid process and how it works inside of Houdini. And ignore this for a second. And in week 2 we learned how to use the pop solver inside of DOPS. Week 3 we learned how to use the smoke solver and we created various cool smoke sims. And when it comes to the flip fluid, the process involves both of them. So actually Houdini is doing a pop solve plus a smoke solve. And the reason for this is Houdini uses the points to so that we can convert them later into a mesh, and it allows us to get a much higher res details by using points because they're very light, and we can increase the point count easily, and this way we can get a lot of details. But with the particles, when we have just particle sims, we cannot solve the pressure, there is volume loss, and all kinds of physical behaviors are not kept. There is no way to solve that problem. So side effects guys are using the smoke solver to provide all that information. And these two solvers are actually talking to each other. So the particle sim is generating data and passing it to the smoke solver. The smoke solver uses that to compute some new stuff and then passes it back. So they both work together to provide the final watery behavior of the particles. So what we really provide for Houdini is points. We generate points in SOPs. This could be a static constant, a static point count. Let's say you have a fluid tank with a specified amount of points or a certain level of water that you would like to pre-fill, and then for example you're going to drop in some objects in there. The second way is to have a continuous emission, to have an actual source emitting fluid into a container or into the scene. So what we're feeding in from subs is basically points. Those points can have normals and they can have all kinds of attributes that we're used to use in Houdini. There's nothing special about them. It's just points like anything else. Then this will get passed to the flip fluid solver, which will internally create the smoke sim, the smoke sim. But we're not gonna view that. We're only going to be visualizing points, and then it solves the pressure, the volume loss, and figure out all the physical behavior needed for the water. And then once we're done, it gives us back points, out points. But it's not just points. So let's delete this. So first we import points from SOPs. We pass this to DOPS flip fluid, and then it gives us back points. But it's not just points that we get from the DOPS. We also get a surface field, which is an SDF that was used to solve the pressure. This is what the smoke sim internally is doing. So there is a surface field that we also import from the sim, and this is very important because later we can use that information to do all kinds of interesting emission for the whitewater and things like that, and also for meshing to know where things are and if there is points inside the water surface and stuff like that. So we get a surface field and we get the points. That's all we get. And there's also a velocity field because it's a smoke sim, so it has various fields that we can access, but these are the two guys that we need in general. And then we have the points, and with all this we are able to convert that data into an actual geometry. So we have points, we have a surface field, and then that gets converted into a mesh that Houdini knows how to process. Basically it knows how to deal with these guys to generate the surface, the geometry, and that's what we're going to render. So after we import this, we're going to do a meshing process. Meshing from the data from DOPS. Cool. So this is the first part, and then the whitewater, it happens afterwards. So once we're done with the sim and everything, we read in the points, the surface field, and we analyze them first to create a whitewater source. And there is a node in Houdini that knows how to deal with these fields and analyzes the data so that it generates an interesting whitewater source. And then this will so this will happen in SOPs. Pardon me. And then we pass this into DOPS again, and we're going to use the whitewater solver that comes with Houdini. The outcome of this is going to be points, and this is basically a pop sim, but it's an intelligent pop sim that is designed specifically to create whitewater. And with this, we're going to be able to create splash, spray, and bubbles. And then once the sim is done, we import the points back, and they will be grouped under spray, foam, and bubble. And basically, foam is anything on top of the surface, spray is anything that is floating in the air above the surface, and bubble is anything that is underneath the water line or the water surface. And then I have lost that. And then once we have the data from whitewater, which is points, we have the surface created from this. We have the water surface, so we have geometry, water mesh, and we have points / particles representing foam, spray, and bubble. And then we have the environment, of course, or whatever scene we have. So this is basically the process, and these are the two things that we're going to render. This is going to be rendered as a surface, and these guys are going to be rendered as particles. There's ways to convert foam into the particle foam into a volume, and I'll show you guys how to do that, but we're not going to be rendering them as an actual volume. We're going to render them as particles. Cool, I think that's pretty much it. And the next scene, we're going to create a simple flip sim and see how this actually works inside of Houdini. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.